So this is a bit of scrap ground that we've got at the back of one of the plots. It's full of glass, plastic, rubble, all sorts of manner of stuff. So this is going to be covered with hessian, and then it's going to have wood chip all over, just so we don't have to contend with weeds in this area. Try and prep it and level it and clear some of the rubbish before I start placing the hessian down and the wood chip on top. On the new area where I've put all the wood chip, I'm going to attempt to do a mini orchard here. Now, when I was actually pricing up the patio fruit trees, I couldn't believe how expensive they actually were. So I'm a bit tight with my money, so I've bought some 2 for $12 from Tesco's. An apple tree called John o' Gold, and a conference pear tree. So this is my pear tree. Obviously this pot is extremely large, and there is garden soil to 2/3 full. I just couldn't justify spending that amount of money on compost at the moment where things are so tight money wise. It's a bare rootstock, and really these should have been soaked before actually planting, but I'm going to give the pots a really good water. They have got very big holes in the bottom as well. Looking at this plant, I want to be able to bury it at least to about here, I think. So I just need to go down a little bit. I just want to make sure that it's as central as what it can be. Obviously we're a little bit crooked anyway. Now obviously as it's watered down it may sink a little bit with the compost, but I can always just top it up a little bit. Now we do have big issues on this plot with animals digging through this, so I'm actually going to be putting some chicken wire across the top to hopefully put the animals off that are digging. The conference pear tree, which is this, is actually self-fertile, so I won't have to provide another pear tree on the plot. I do make a lot of poached pears in red wine or other alcohol, depending on what I've got at the time, which is absolutely beautiful with extra thick cream. Now this one is an apple called John o' Gold. Again, it's a bare root, and I'm just going to tease off some of that in the first place. So again, I want to bury it to at least there, and I'm going to try and get it as central as possible, and then we're going to add some more compost into the top. That's the apple tree. And once I find another apple tree that can fertilise this particular one, again I'll grab another one of these pots and pop it into there. Now I'm hoping this will actually be big enough. Obviously for a full-size tree I think it may be a struggle, and I think further down the line we may have to take these out of these pots and put them into the garden, which is no big deal. I was going to get some fruit trees for the garden anyway and slowly start transferring them for the patio variety, which obviously can grow in pots. So I'm going to make a start on the blueberries. These are the blueberries that I bought last year. There's very small little plants, and this one's done quite well. Quite a few new shoots as well on there. So last year I used a 50 mix of ericaceous and a 50 mix of multi-purpose compost, and it seemed to be okay for this so far. And I'm hoping this year I'm actually going to get some fruit off them. Now I'm going to add to this mix some more ericaceous, because apparently blueberries like a bit more of an acidic soil. See, this is what happens with foxes. They love to open bags. Now to keep it ericaceous, a bit more acidic, you can actually add something like pine needles or something like that. There is other ingredients you can add to help your soil become a little bit more acidic, but I think with this mix I think it will work just as well. So the roots had already actually started to grow to the edge of this pot, and then hopefully I shouldn't actually have to pot on these for a couple of years. Again, this will get a good water. It's so lopsided in this pot, but it'll be fine. I'm not overly concerned. And hopefully this, as this bush gets bigger, this pot will be heavy enough for it to not actually be blown over with the wind. This one's a Duke. Again, I didn't get any fruit last year, but I bought the plants very, very short. I think I bought Duke and Blue Crop, I think. Again, another bush, not central. Now, this one we found actually in the ground on the allotment. Now, we did speak to a previous tenant, and he says that this is a blueberry bush. Now, it's one thing that I've never really grown before is blueberries. So if I can actually get a crop off of these, I'll be really, really happy. The amount of things I can actually make out of blueberries, it will be great. Just got to try and firm it down. And this is where the blueberries are going to stay for now. There's the two other fruit trees, and now I've got a big area here which I'll probably place some more pots of some kind of fruit trees. My aim is to have it kind of as a blossom area. It's quite sheltered here, and I'm thinking I'm going to put another tree there, and then maybe something else along this wall as well. This is what I've woken up to this morning. I got a little WhatsApp message from the husband because he came down a bit earlier today, and the pots that I did yesterday with the blueberries and the apples and the pears have all been decimated. Something's had a really good dig. It looks a bit too much for a cat, but there was little paw prints, wasted soil, which I'm really pleased about, and completely decimated one of the pots. In fact, I don't even know where the plant's gone. Completely and utterly ruined. I think the one that's missing is the smaller. It's my own fault. I should have put some chicken wire over the top to protect from digging. But wow, they were fast getting into these. I think I'm going to put some lemon oils that I have left over from soap making around the pots. Get them sprayed, just so if it is a cat, it may actually deter them. But what a complete and utter mess. Thing is, I actually don't want soil on top of this wood chip, because it's just another growing medium for the weeds to go on. Completely destroyed. I'm going to replant it though, see if it actually does survive. Looking at the evidence, I do actually think it's foxes. There's some branches on the new trees that are quite thick and they've actually been snapped off. So I think I've had foxes dancing in the pots overnight. It's so frustrating. I love the local wildlife, but wow, do these foxes destroy so much on the plot. I've come up with a little cunning plan. I'm going to use chicken wire. Now, no idea whether this is actually going to work, but I'm kind of at my wit's end now. It's not as if compost is cheap, and any plants that you buy, it's not cheap to be lost in one night through foxes playing around. So I'm going to use chicken wire around the edges of the pots, squash it down somewhat, and actually pin it and see if it actually works. Now obviously this isn't ideal, but I'm not quite sure what else to try. I think I'm going to have to actually add some more compost into this. Bloody foxes. Well, I've covered the tops with some chicken wire and I've just pinned it down with some broken bits of cane. See if it actually works. So I'm hoping I might have to pin that down a little bit more, but that's going to stop foxes in general. It's just so disappointing. Especially with things that take several years to actually start producing. I've just got so much compost in my wood chip now, which is not what I wanted.